Well, now that the government shutdown has been averted, Congress will turn to other legislative priorities. At least that's what we hope. But Senator Chuck Schumer's sudden change of position on the budget seems to have left Democrats without a clear direction. I want to bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns. Caitlin, recent polling that you've seen over the last couple of days suggests that the Democrats are really underwater here. We talked about this last week. What kind of power are the Democrats going to be able to exercise between now and, let's say, the midterms?
Hey, Vlad, good to see you. Well, you're right. They actually don't have a lot of legislative power at this point because they're in the minority in the House and the Senate. Even though the Republican margins are very slim, Democrats still don't have as much leverage as they would like. And they're trying to exert it in ways where they can. And there was a section of Democrats that thought the funding fight that we saw last week was the position to do that, was the opportunity to do that. Schumer made the calculation that it wasn't worth shutting down the government to be able to hold the line here because he was looking at history and saw that parties that worked to shut down the government didn't really gain anything from it. In fact, the political blowback was significant. And so he made that calculation. But we're already seeing, Vlad, that he's getting a lot of pushback from his own party. Last week, we were talking about House Democrats criticizing him very intensely over this decision. And on Friday, we saw Hakeem Jeffries, who's the minority leader on the House side, Schumer's New York colleague and his counterpart on the House side, not saying whether he would have confidence in Schumer's leadership abilities. He was asked multiple times at a press conference, you see there on your screen, whether he had confidence in Schumer, and he wouldn't answer the question. Now, we're just getting some news here, Vlad, that's really important, that Schumer has a book coming out this week. He was supposed to be starting a book tour and doing book signings, and I just heard from his publisher that they are postponing those signings because of security concerns. So what has changed is the idea that he's getting a lot of pushback and a lot of vitriol from those in his own party, and this according to this latest postponement, is starting to have an effect on him personally.
I also have noted, Caitlin, that folks who are fairly vocal about leadership within the party are being asked, would they support, for example, Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries in leadership roles when that time comes? And you're getting a lot of dodging of the questions. People saying, as Jasmine Crockett did, well, she doesn't believe elections are going to happen. And I mean, I find it interesting that there are people who are complaining about where Democrats are right now, but who aren't willing to say, at least unless you've heard differently, that they would make a change so that they can ensure that the things that they want to get done are being done.
That's right. You're seeing a lot of hand-wringing, a lot of, expressing this. But how does it actually get implemented? I mean, that remains an open question. Chuck Schumer isn't up for re-election until 2028. Will voters remember this shutdown by then, or the shutdown showdown, I should say, by then? Who knows? But the idea is that Democrats are starting to go after each other. And Vlad, it really reminds me of how Republicans have been over the past decade and a half or so. You had a lot of anger within the Republican Party at Republican Party leadership. I mean, that helped to kind of foment the support behind Donald Trump all those years ago, someone who would come in and break up the system, even Republican systems. Democrats we're starting to see a similar thread there, where you're seeing kind of the base of the party express real frustrations about how it is being led. So what does that lead to remains to be seen. We're certainly keeping an eye on some of these town halls that we've been seeing for Republicans, but also for Democrats as well.
Yeah. All right. Caitlin Huey-Burns reporting from Washington for us this morning. Thanks, Caitlin.